Hello, everybody, and welcome to Virtual Gridiron Sports. I'm your host, Rick Horn, rocking the official Obey the Commish t-shirt as I am your commissioner of the No Punt Intended Fantasy Football League. Hey guys, listen, I'm just kind of sitting here chilling with my new Apple Macbook Pro. Thank you, Donald Trump, for the early birthday present, #stimulus check. And yeah, so I downloaded some really cool software from OBS Studios that I'm super excited to have. Hoping to be able to use it for the actual sports talk that I've been wanting to do for a little over 2 years now, but just did not have the means to be able to do so. Using only my wife's laptop, and it has way too much space taken up on it since she's been using it for her own purposes. And so I figured, why not, while I'm getting used to my new laptop, learning how to use the new software, why not use this as an opportunity to be productive and talk about some things coming up for the 2020 fantasy football season. So things to discuss. First of all, I want to talk about the newcomers. They are coming. We are super sad to see the 3 team owners that we did have last year leave us. Obviously, we had our resident Hall of Famer, Bethany Horn of Saxon City, retire, along with Jason Knoll of the IT crew, and rookie newcomer, now retired already, Josh Brown of the Chocolate Herd. And so we are super sad to see them leave. But listen, we have some absolute ballers coming into the league this year. There was actually one new team owner that I was talking to who has over a decade of fantasy football experience, and last year, as the number 6 seed in the playoffs in a 12-team league, went on to win a league championship. How crazy is that? So we definitely have a lot of very competitive experience and just overall great people, great personalities. I'm super excited to introduce you all to them. They did receive an official invitation from me that I made on my phone, as with everything else that I've done up until this point, all the ridiculous fantasy football memes and videos before I got my laptop. Feel free to pause and read that if you so choose. But again, as I mentioned in the league chat and on the league's official Facebook page, the day that we're going to be revealing these folks and their team names is going to be June 13th, 2020. Where there's smoke, there is fire. Now, I did give them a deadline as to when they're going to submit their team names to me. About 3 weeks before I actually post the promo video. That's just going to give me a little bit of time to come up with a logo for them, just like I have for the rest of you, along with really create a good quality video, a good promo video to welcome them into the league. We've all been very familiar with my work. It's been ridiculous, but hopefully kind of entertaining. So I feel like they are definitely deserving of that same benefit. Second thing I want to talk about, draft position determination. Now, I've never been a fan of just letting the ESPN app or whatever app that you're using determine draft position for you, even if it is random. I think that it's a lot more fun to have some way of, being entertaining with it. And it's kind of hard to really, and our options are limited with everybody kind of being all over the country. Our options are very limited. I'm always open-minded if you guys have ideas for how we can determine draft position. Hey, I'm all ears, totally open-minded. I know one thing Danny did mention, and Danny, you may have to kind of expand on the specifics, but I know he kind of suggested maybe we look at a horse racing event and bet on horses, and whoever did the best obviously would have the first pick of the draft and so on. If we expand on that a little bit, that might be an idea. And again, if you have any suggestions, please feel free to leave a comment below, or even better, post it in the league chat or on the league's Facebook page. Let's get some conversation going. If we don't come up with any other ideas, obviously last year, the Powerball Lottery, I thought that was an absolute hit live on YouTube. Being able to see live where your draft position has been determined. I thought it was really cool. And so I thought of a few options as to how we can do that this year, albeit with a little bit more bells and whistles with the new technology that I have. Option 1 this year, we keep it the exact same as last year, but again, a little bit more enhanced with the new laptop and whatnot, like I've said 100 times. But we keep it the exact same as last year as our first option. Basically, just kind of a rundown last year. If you remember, we had the official power bucket that we drew a team name out of, and then I had the bingo ball machine, or the power ball, if you will, that I rolled until we got a number. So you match the team name with the number that we drew from the machine, and then that was your draft position. That's definitely an option that we have, or that we would still do, I guess. But then I would call the team owner on the phone and get their reaction and air it live on YouTube. That's definitely an option that we have this year. It seems like everybody kind of got a kick out of that last year, and I'm sure the same would be said about this year if that's the route that we decided to go. The second option that we have is we do some type of either video conference or video call type thing, whether that be individually or where I just call you individually on video and get it, a screenshot of it there on YouTube as I'm streaming, or we do some type of video conference where we're all in the same video conference at the same time. Now, with that said, I did look into a few different options of where to go that route. Some possible venues that we would use to host the Powerball Lottery draft video conference. The first one being Zoom. Zoom, I'm not 100% familiar with every single function. What I do know is that Zoom is an absolute powerhouse of video conferencing technology. It does allow for mass video conferencing participation. I think if I remember reading correctly on their website, the lowest tier still allowed for up to 100% participants in the same video conference. And it does allow you to toggle on and off, or rather turn on and off your video and audio while still being able to observe the rest of the conference. I would need to polish up a little bit more from the little bit that I have experienced with Zoom. It's solid. It's a lot better than some of the other apps out there. But it's definitely an option that we have. Again, we just may have to do a little bit more research on it. The second one being Skype. Skype, obviously, we're most of us should be pretty familiar with Skype. It's a pretty recognizable brand. It's been around for a while. The main experience I had with Skype was while I was on deployment. I used it to call home and video talk with my folks and whatnot while I was in port. But I've never actually done it as like a video conference type thing, where you have multiple people in the same video call at the same time. So with that's where I'm going to need to do a little bit more research. And then obviously we have Facebook Messenger. We all have Facebook Messenger. We all know it for the most part. The only thing I'm not 100% sure with Facebook Messenger is if we do this, how would we pan over to one particular person, and kind of zoom in on their face, to get it really on display exceptionally well during this event. So like I said, here at the bottom of the screen, you can see any of these methods will require some testing just to ensure that this is a smooth experience at the time of the actual event. Because look, the idea here is, it's going on YouTube, so we're going to have something to be able to look back at, right? And I really think that the Powerball Lottery last year was cool. With this year, it's really cool, especially like in a time where we're all having a social distance because of the coronavirus. It's been neat. We've made friends from all across the country. I know I've personally met everybody at least once. But prior to joining the league, most of you have never met before. Or at least maybe if you met, you were already friends and, you connected with everyone else via me. But I think it's been really cool to kind of have all the good folks that I know from across the country kind of in one place. So the video conferencing idea is, in my opinion, I just think it's a really cool idea to be able to kind of get to know everybody a little bit better and put a face to the name. And so with that, the third option that we have is maybe a combination of both. Because let's face it, maybe not everybody is going to want to be on video, like have their face on video on YouTube for the world to see. But maybe some people do. So the option that we have here, the idea is you get to kind of pick and choose. You let me know ahead of time so that I'm not asking you during the event, obviously. We would determine ahead of time whether it's going to be a video call or a voice call that I would make to you at the time that your team name is called, along with the draft position that you have been selected for via the Powerball Lottery. And that way, everybody's kind of satisfied. If you don't want your face shown, great. I just call you just like we did last year. If you're okay with me video calling, great. That's another layer that we can add to this Powerball Lottery. So it's that's really all I have to say about that. And so for the third thing that I want to talk about today, I really don't feel like we have to talk about it too terribly much, but the season length for the 2020 fantasy football season. Look, it really goes without saying, far too many times has a really solid team owner, arguably the best team in any given league, ends up losing in a Week 17 championship because all of their star players that got them to the championship end up getting benched. And as our resident fantasy football Hall of Famer Bethany Horn can tell you, Week 17 championships suck. So I think this year, I know with the NFL collective bargaining agreement, I know that games are moving from, or rather, the schedule is moving from having teams playing 16 games a season to 17 games, but that's not actually taking place until the 2021 season at the earliest. So with that said, I think for this season, we can go ahead and nix a Week 17 championship and just make the championship in Week 16. I feel like we already talked about this before at the end of last season. Lamar was actually one of the lucky people. It wouldn't have mattered if it was Week 16 or Week 17. He was the highest scoring team in the league both of those weeks, so he would have won either way. But I've seen far too many times the actual best team in the league ends up losing in week 17 because all their star players are benched. So with that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and just make the league championship in week 16 this year. Anyway, guys, that's all I really have to say for now. If you guys have any other ideas as to how we can make this league even more entertaining and more exciting, I'm all ears. And if you guys could do me a favor, if you have any input as far as to how you want to determine draft order this year specifically, please leave a comment below, or again, even more preferably in the league chat or on the league Facebook page. Let's open up some conversation. Let's get to talking about this. Let's really solidify how we're going to do this year, just so that we have everything in line ahead of time. It's the ball is starting to get rolling. I know it's a little bit early, but we have the new team owner league reveal. Excuse me. Oh my God, I can't talk right now. New team owner reveal in June. The Powerball lottery, in theory, if that's the option that we go with, I'm planning to have that late July, just like we did last year. And then the draft being sometime late August, early September. But anyway, that's all I have for now, guys. Hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. And as always, we will see you on the virtual gridiron. Take care, guys.